Good evening, everybody. It is Monday, January 27th in the year of our Lord, 2025. We got a loaded show for you tonight on Coach's Corner with Heck and King. New sponsor alert. It's the Harbor Group. If you are looking for financial advice as you are approaching retirement and you've got big questions like what specific steps should you take before retiring? When should you draw Social Security? How do you manage investment risk? How much will health insurance cost if you retire? If you're over 62, how much can you earn part-time without affecting your Social Security or your pension? And finally, is it really possible to get a raise if you retire? Well, to get all your questions answered, call our Harbor Group at 765-393-1074 or visit harborgroup.com, and that is HARBER group.com. We have got a loaded show for you tonight with these three dudes live from the Linebacker on Notre Dame's campus adjacent, and we will get to it right after this.
Coach's Corner with Coach Heck and the infamous Coach Patrick King. You're stuck with me, man.
I'm stuck.
You are stuck with me. I ain't going anywhere.
There's a lot of people that are jealous of me for sitting here, and there's some people that there's a little sympathy going on at the same time.
There's more people that are sympathetic to you. I'm just saying that much right now. Just remember what Ron Hecklinski said today. Man, you ain't that good. The scouting report said you were pretty good. You ain't that good. Oh, man. Are you kidding me?
Coach's Corner with Heck and King is sponsored by Tony Letcher with Health Markets Insurance, Han Funeral Homes, and Frick's Driving School in Mishawaka. For those of you on YouTube, make sure to comment in the chat, like the video, and subscribe to the channel. Please and thank you. Now here's Heck and King.
Man, so, like watching our intro, those were the good old days, man.
We were young back then.
We were young pups. We had nothing to worry about. Now we're moving up in the world. It's our first show tonight from the Linebacker Lounge on the south edge of Notre Dame's campus. It's an electric place when there's a Notre Dame activity going on. And speaking of a Notre Dame activity, this place was rolling last weekend, and they had the game on the national television where they had the scene of everybody partying and having a good time here.
We are actually sitting. The camera was like right here above our head.
Okay.
And then people were watching this TV that you can see here right behind us. That's one of the TVs. They've got several TVs in here, but that
is a TV.
This place was hopping.
No, it was really hopping, and it's always been hopping for as long as I remember. It's always been hopping. We have the great Kenny Peterson here joining us tonight. He keeps us from for a far better, worse way to say it, he keeps us from lying.
That's right.
He makes sure that we're talking fact checker.
I'm your fact checker, baby.
Yeah, I kind of ruined some of those things because we've kind of had the motto, never let the truth get in the way of a good story.
Yeah,
that's true.
I think there's a lot of truth in that, to be honest with you.
We'll call Kenny the research man. How's that?
So we have a speaker in here, and I had plenty of people say to me, "Hey man, I want to come into the Linebacker tonight and catch your show." And I said, give us a week to get everything worked out,
right.
To get the kinks worked out. Now that we have the setup, we know where we're at now. Mm-hmm. It's a pretty good setup. So hopefully we'll have some people in here starting next week, and they'll be able to listen to the show. The speaker is on and rolling, and anybody can listen to it that wants to. And we have a lot of stuff to talk about, Pat. I mean, there's been a lot of stuff rolling. The one thing I want to ask you, because I kind of want to get into this a little bit, we're going to talk and obviously we'll put the Notre Dame game to bed. That's over. There's a lot of ramifications of the college football season being over. There's a lot of things going on with the not-for-long league, the NFL.
Yeah.
We have our Super Bowl set.
Yes.
We have our Super Bowl set. There's college basketball, which I'll start off with this question. So a lot of people, and I know a lot of coaches, they get, they come in, they have a nice team on paper at the beginning. Mm-hmm. They spend money to bring in players now. It's different. It's different than it used to be. But are they on the hot seat at a little quicker pace than maybe they used to be? Because I know coaches, that have coached for, I don't know, 20 years at a place. And they may have had a couple suspect seasons, but I don't think that they were ever on the hot seat initially.
Right.
Is Mike Woodson on the hot seat, or is everybody just judging him too quickly because of where he is at the famous program at Indiana University? Or should Mike Woodson, or should we just say Mike's going to coach that ball club for 20 years, man? Even if you're losing some games, or is he losing games he shouldn't lose, or are his players better than what they're playing?
I think
I'm asking you guys.
I think Indiana basketball's on the same level as Notre Dame football, in that there are expectations, there's a standard that's been established. They're one of the blue bloods of the sport. And when you're not having success as a blue blood, that doesn't sit well with the alumni or the fan base. I mean, let's go back to what happened on Sunday against Maryland. The way that game ended was awful. I mean,
I didn't see it because I was watching NFL. I was watching Not For Long. So explain to me, Pat, the way it ended. I mean, from your coaching vernacular.
Well, we were gonna go over that here in a little bit, but I guess I could take it right now. IU's ahead. They fought their way back from what they were 10 down, Kenny.
Like that, yeah.
They were 10 down. Yeah. Late in the game with 3 minutes left, they're up 4, and they pretty well protected that 4-point lead for the last 3 minutes or so. They get down late in the game. Lael gets a 3-point play with around 40 seconds that puts them up with the free throw, makes it a 4-point ball game. There's a timeout involved. Maryland comes down the floor. They hit a 3 with like 15 seconds left. Called timeout, so now it's a 1-point ball game.
Was it a 3 where Notre Dame should have switched out? They didn't switch. Or I'm sorry, IU should have switched out. They didn't switch out. They got caught on a screen. What was the 3? Set the 3 up for me.
Well, before that, Gillespie hits a 2-pointer, so now it's a 2-point game around 26 seconds. Immediately, they foul Galloway. So Galloway goes to the free throw line. He's got a 1-and-1 with maybe 22 seconds left. They're up 2.
Yeah.
He misses the front end of a 1-and-1.
Yeah, that ain't good.
Okay. So he misses the front end of a 1-and-1. They go to IU has Maryland calls timeout. Okay.
Give me a TO, Lefty Drizel.
They call timeout. They're down 20 seconds. IU has a foul to give. They've got 5 team fouls. Everybody in the world knew it. Even the guys on TV had mentioned it 2 or 3 times. And they were even talking, said if somebody gets broken down, foul them, right, while they're dribbling.
Mm-hmm.
They
Who you calling your bookie to see what happened?
They dribble penetrate. Galloway gets broke. The guy dribbles through, does a hockey, the hockey drive underneath, pitches it, ball gets knocked loose. People scramble for it. Maryland picks it up around the elbow, pitches it out to a 3. Guy's wide open because this man's laying on the floor trying to dive for a loose ball. He's wide open. Ballo can't get to him in time. He knocks down a 3. Now they're up 1 with 7 seconds left. Timeout IU.
So obviously, the perfect time to foul was when that loose ball's bouncing around and they pick it up.
Yep.
Just foul.
Nobody fouled it.
Right.
It would have reset everything. Oh, it gets better. It gets better.
So IU's down 1.
IU's down 1. They come down the floor. They call timeout at 5 seconds. So they've got the ball on the side right in front of the bench. Ball, they can't even get it in bounds. They throw it in, gets knocked loose, gets tipped, knocked out of bounds underneath the basket. Now you're down to 3.5 seconds. Okay, 3.5 seconds. IU's got the ball underneath, no timeouts left. Okay, they start subbing people. I think they bring Ballo in for somebody, take him out. They bring Renew back in, take Lael out. People are booing, saying, "Why are you taking him out?" They bring Coop. What's his name? Is it Cooper? What's the redhead?
Cup.
Yeah.
Or no, what's the redhead kid's name? The transfer.
Goody.
I'm sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, stay with us on this, all right? We'll get it.
Magicmind.com, promo code Coaches Corner 20.
I'm proving to you how confusing it was. They were running people in and out. Now they don't know what play to run. They throw the ball to Rice in the corner, or Galloway throws the ball in the corner, and Rice can't get a shot. They shoot up a air ball. Ball game's over.
It was just a heave.
Yeah, no,
they
that's
got nothing.
Yeah, that's now is that problematic of the way the program's run at this point in time as you see it? I mean, they're 5-5 in the Big Ten. They've lost 4 of the last 5 Big Ten games. Is that problematic as to how this program is? Because I know that there are so many coaches that battle through bad times,
Right.
and people don't. I mean, Lou Henson, for goodness sakes, at Illinois, he had a long career there, but his stuff never wasn't like it was flowing smoothly. And every other year, they weren't talking about fires. They weren't talking about firing Sweet Lou.
Right.
They were talking about his comb over, but they weren't talking about firing him.
Yeah. I think everybody now knows Quinn Buckner's running the show down there on who's hiring and firing coaches. He's the one that hired Woodson. So it's going to be Woodson going to Buckner and having that conversation. Does Buckner pull the plug on him?
Okay, so is it in your opinion that Indiana University needs to go in a different direction in their basketball program?
If they don't make the NCAA tournament, yes.
I think he's great. Give him a lifetime contract.
So you say don't fire him, Pat?
They're 5-5 in the conference. I mean, it's kind of, to me, it's still kind of like Aaron Rodgers saying, "Relax." They're still it's the middle of January.
I
think
they turned down the NIT last year.
I think they're going to be okay.
So here, this is my question. Okay, this is my question. With all of this money that they got and all of these players that they're bringing in, right? They're playing a kid, a 5th-year kid named Leal from Bloomington South, who really hasn't had major minutes before. Now, are they playing him?
He started his last 3 games.
Because he's tougher than anybody else, and that's why he's playing? Because you probably have a couple million. If he's starting and he's playing, you probably have a couple million sitting on the bench
right,
that you brought in. So is it failure to understand what you have in recruiting? Are you saying, well, we need this guy, we need this guy, we need this guy. Give me the money, Scott Dolson. I mean, it's a different day today.
So who out of this group, who are they paying? Luke Goody?
Yeah, for sure they are.
All right. Are they paying Carlisle?
Yes, they are.
Okay. Galloway's getting the minimum.
Are they paying Ballo for sure? Are they paying Rice for sure? Are they paying Ronald for sure? Are they paying Mabako for sure?
4 of those guys, they got 4 big names, 4 big dollar signs.
Yeah.
Plus Anthony Leal.
Yeah, but Anthony Leal is a kid from Bloomington South that hasn't busted a grape. As a matter of fact, last year, and I'm not down on him. I'm just asking this question. I'm not down on him. But last year, I laughed when Galloway said he was coming back. Okay, I can dig that because Trey Galloway, he's played major minutes.
But we always called him a glue man. We never called him a go-to.
Yeah, but he played minutes. When Anthony Leal said, "I'm coming back," I said, you know what I said? Why?
Yeah.
Why are you coming back? You ain't busted a grape here for 4 years.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden, Anthony Leal is the big player.
And Sunday, he plays 19 minutes.
So he's playing 19 minutes. So did they make mistakes on guys that they brought in?
Well, is Goody in a slump? Because he only played 17. Galloway got 30 minutes.
Well, so Goody's coming from Illinois.
Right.
Illinois got a pretty good team. I just read a comment from Brad Underwood at Illinois saying if they continue to get better, he sees his team as a possible Final Four team. Was Goody not good enough to play at Illinois, but now we buy him in here to Indiana?
I think that's what happened.
So then there are issues, and somebody should pay the price for bad roster construction. Yeah. And speaking about bad roster construction, okay, this is a bad roster construction. And I'm sorry I went here early, but I just I wanted to know. I just wanted to get your guys' feelings on Mike Woodson and everybody. So everybody thinking, well, IU's got to win a national championship. If Mike Woodson don't win a national championship, he gone. I mean, everybody I talk to say Mike Woodson, he gone. Wow. Tony, Ken Hawk Harrelson. He gone.
They're gonna have to buy him out.
Well, but everybody says that, and I'm an ex-coach, and I tend to give the doubt, the shadow of a doubt to the coach, just like you did.
Sure. Okay.
Just like you did
I
right
agree.
there.
I agree.
But so neither one of you guys asked me what I thought.
What do you think?
I think he ought to be gone. He gone. I think he ought to be gone. He gone. And that's because so in the old days, like maybe 5 years ago, I would say, no, he ain't gone.
Right.
But in this day and age that we're paying all this money, and these colleges are printing their own money.
Yep.
Someone's got to be the fall guy for this. Right? Do you agree with me?
Well, I agree to that.
And if he's the one bringing these cats in, then someone's got to do it.
Well, from what I
Somebody's gotta
understand,
take
it's Randy Whitman, it's Quinn Buckner, and the groups of
Yeah,
them.
but
that are the ones that are bankrolling.
But Randy Whitman ain't saying, "Hey, bring in Rice. Hey, bring in Goody." Mike Woodson and his staff is saying, "Bring these dudes in."
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. So that brings me to more money printing. We talk about Notre Dame football, and by the way, what a special season Notre Dame had.
Oh my gosh!
And we're not, we're going to put their 14-2 run. We're going to put that to bed a little bit. There was a point in that Ohio State game where I figured, and Scott was probably cheering his ass off to blow Notre Dame out.
Right.
And Notre Dame could have got blown out in that game. Mm-hmm. But Notre Dame came back, made some plays, and there's always going to be skeptics saying, well, Coach Freeman shouldn't have gone for it on 4th and 9 there. Why kick a field goal, blah, blah, blah. I mean, those are coaching decisions.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if realistically they could have got a first, or they could have scored a TD there at 4th and 9.
But they can't score punting the ball.
Right.
And they needed the ball in their hands.
Yeah,
Because what was it, second quarter? Ohio State scored every time they touched the ball.
Yeah, 3 possessions, 3 scores.
Yeah.
And that's when they ran off and hid.
But
Scott mentioned last week in his preview, he said Notre Dame's going to get off to a fast start. They're going to score. And basically it's like they're going to punch Ohio State in the nose, wake them up, and then Ohio State's is going to go on a run. And next thing
exactly
you know,
what happened,
before you blink, it's going to be like 28-10 or something.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, Notre Dame couldn't run the football. Now, Riley Leonard could get some yards when he needed them, but they couldn't run traditional I formation, whatever you want to call it, to Love or the other kid.
Was Jeremiah Love hurt more than they let on?
No, I don't think he was. I just think that they couldn't run. I just think
they had him locked up.
That the line of scrimmage, the lines were just too good at Ohio State.
Mm-hmm. Riley Leonard had more yards rushing on the first drive than Jadarian Price, and Jeremiah Love had the entire game.
Yeah, I agree. Out. It's almost like Ohio State said, okay, these 2 running backs are not going to beat us. We're going to make Riley Leonard beat us.
Well, and at the end of the day, if that's what they said, then Notre Dame played themselves back into the game. And when Al Gooden came out and said, my bad, my fault for leaving Christian Gray on an island with the receiver from Ohio State for a 56-yard gain, if they don't get that and they got to punt to Notre Dame, then
bets are off.
Then it's a different deal, because now
it was an 8-point game.
Because then you say, if you go into coach speak. Mm-hmm. You say, if I told you with 4 minutes left to go, the Notre Dame was going to be down 8, would you take it?
Yes, I think so.
You'd say yes.
Oh, absolutely.
You'd say yes.
Oh, absolutely.
And they got the ball, and they're going to drive.
Mm-hmm.
So,
hey, we've got Joe. Joe in the comments has been really making some points here, and his most recent one, he said I believe Ohio State was just faster than Notre Dame. And it was funny he mentioned that, because I had seen like Irish Breakdown or something, and some of their staff writers were like, oh, well, Ohio State hadn't seen a team like Notre Dame yet. And I'm like, all right,
I disagree with that.
Let's pump the brakes on that one there, guys.
Yeah, no, and I think Joe's right. I think Notre Dame had maybe 4-star athletes. Ohio State had 5-star athletes.
And you look at the rosters that Notre Dame beat to get to this point. Both Georgia and Penn State roster-wise, I felt were better than Notre Dame. If you matched up roster to roster, those two were better than Notre Dame.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, and the fact that, and I told people, anything after they got past Indiana, if they beat Georgia, it's house money the rest of the way. And they were playing with house money, to be truthful.
All right, so then let me ask you this question.
Axe away.
Did God make Notre Dame number one?
Of course, always he does.
Well,
Well, if that's so, why'd they lose?
Yeah.
You know, we had
Well,
mentioned,
number two, excuse me.
you know, we had been, before the game was played, we'd been talking all week about this was probably the best group of athletes that Notre Dame has put on the field in a long time. And a group that, you know, obviously could compete with Georgia.
Right.
We found out there's another step to that because they were not at that same level.
I think
Ohio State, but Ohio State was a generational team.
I think what Kenny said was right, though, that Notre Dame had better players or had better roster than Georgia or Penn State in places, but I think in the places that mattered most for those games, because I think Georgia and Penn State's trenches were still a little bit better, but neither team had the skill to match up with Notre Dame.
Right.
Yeah, Notre Dame, and let's face it, Notre Dame made plays when they had to make plays.
Yeah.
Right.
They scored 17 points in 50 seconds.
Right. But I will say this: Ohio State was the better team last
Without
Monday night.
question.
Okay, and I'm gonna make this point because I'm so sick of hearing this from people who say you play no one. I heard it all season. Okay.
It doesn't matter.
No, but my point is, every time that they would win, it'd be, well, something happened when they beat Indiana.
Well, yeah,
Indiana's not good.
Yeah, but those are the Notre Dame detractors.
Yeah, Georgia didn't have its best team.
Yeah.
Penn State. What was the excuse for Penn State? That the kid threw the pass at the end of regulation.
Well, he did.
I mean, it cost him. Yeah, and the guy slipped on the pass to Great House. But every time Notre Dame would win, there would always be an excuse by the haters.
Well, there's always Notre Dame detractors,
I know.
and you know that.
Those are the same haters that are down at Bloomington. They're in the same category that down at Bloomington right now, trying to, wanting to bail on Woodson. So
And the ones that
I wouldn't call myself a hater. I would just call myself a realist. And here's the deal: when this stuff came in, and it went to blue chips, when our boy bought Ricky a tractor, and Ricky ain't playing, someone's got to pay.
Right.
Someone's got to pay. Neon, he didn't want a car.
No.
Neon didn't want the car. All right, hey, listen, speaking of that, I want to get, because we're talking money, and this is money. So it just comes out now that the Notre Dame's GM of football is a guy named Chad Bowden. His dad was Jim Bowden, the baseball executive with the Reds, with the Nationals, I believe. He's out of the baseball business now. But Chad Bowden was Marcus Freeman's GM. His responsibilities were constructing the roster,
Right.
and recruiting and getting things like that lined up. And he did, and obviously he did a great job because Notre Dame's recruiting has intensified and is good.
Yeah.
it's good. Yeah,
It's good.
This is good. It's been in a long, long time.
He made between $275,000 and $300,000 at Notre Dame.
Wow.
He left Notre Dame a couple days ago, and he's taking a job at Southern Cal for the same job at Southern Cal for $1 million.
Jeez.
Now, who's printing money?
Well, how about
Someone's printing money.
Yeah, and I hate to tell you this, Scott, about your defensive coordinator who left for Penn State. They broke the bank for this guy. What was it, $3 million?
He was making.
There's a whole story behiand that, though.
But he was making
Okay.
2.2, and he goes to Penn State for 3.1.
Those are
Because they offered him 3 with incentives on top. But there was a little bit of an internal strife. I can cover that more here in a little bit. Before you guys change topics, the transitions now. I've got the ad cuts where it's just me reading them for like 15 seconds, and then we switch topics. So before you guys do that, just let me know, and I'll hit one of the videos.
All right, go ahead, man.
Switch segments.
Hey,
All
you
right.
tell us what to do. Go ahead.
All right, there's the programming note. Here, we'll switch it up. Be back here in like 10 seconds. This upcoming segment of Coach's Corner is presented by Tony Elettra with Health Markets Insurance. If you need help with your health insurance or Medicare, call Tony at 574-307-8882 or visit tletcher.com. There you go.
Yeah. So our guy our guy Tom Allen, who is the DC at Penn State, who was the head coach at IU. He's a high school coach at Ben Davis.
Right.
Come up through the ranks, had a nice career, just couldn't get it done at IU. Didn't know how to put a roster together. Had money, but didn't know where to spend it. Kurt Cignetti comes in. He knows where to spend it. And boom, they get on a roll. So Tom Allen goes to Clemson, leaves the DC opening at Penn State. I mean, the money for these are assistant coaches now.
Mm-hmm.
DC, $3.1 million for Knowles to go to Penn State. So it's and you start talking about so Al Golden leaves. He goes to he's the DC at Cincinnati.
We were talking about that last week.
So Notre Dame is targeting a guy by the name of Chris Ash. He was a former DC at Ohio State.
Won the national championship in 2014 with him.
Yeah, and then he became the head coach at Rutgers.
Yeah,
and didn't fare so well there. But Notre Dame's thinking about bringing Chris Ash in and then making him a defensive coordinator with Mike Mickens, because Mike Mickens is really, really good, and Marcus Freeman doesn't want to lose him.
Right,
is that
exactly.
is
The
that
secondary coach.
Secondary coach.
Right, because remember Darren was talking about that last week, that they've got to do something to keep him here, because if they don't make him the DC, he'll go
bolt.
someplace.
He'll leave. Yeah.
So they're gonna have to throw some money at him and give him a upgraded title.
Yeah, and so this is how some of this works now.
Yeah.
So where does Chris Ash come from? He's got the same agent as Marcus Freeman.
Oh, of course.
So these agents now are starting, I mean, Marcus's agent says, hey, man, I got this guy, Chris Ash. You know Chris, right? Yeah. He'd love to be your DC, blah, 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 blah. So the agents now are starting to run more of it. Sure. The same agent Matt Eberflus and Ryan Poles had for the Bears. Okay. The same agent. Yeah. So then the agent's going to say to Matt Eberflus, hey, we got these other 6 guys here who are clients of ours. They've been assistant coaches in the NFL for so long. They can't bust a grape, but maybe you ought to hire them.
Right.
And the Bears go 5-12.
Oh, yeah.
Notre Dame would be really good to get Chris Ash, though. Chris Ash is a good name. He'd do a good job.
Yeah, no, I think where Notre Dame is at now on, their face in the country now, I think Notre Dame would be a destination for a lot of guys.
Well, and as we're seeing here, we have the same thing going on with the transfer portal with the players. Basically, you got coaches bouncing around now too,
right?
And trying to get all that, and they're going to the highest bidder. And we mentioned off the air before we started, IU just furloughed 25 office workers.
IU
in their office,
IU laid off 25 employees in the athletic department.
Yes.
Okay, 25.
I know.
Wow.
Now,
people that have been there a long time.
Put this in your pipe and smoke it. And I'm not saying what this is. Just put it in your pipe and smoke it. Now the defensive coordinator for Notre Dame is Bryant Haynes, and he's making $1.8 million. He was obviously the highest paid assistant coach in IU's history. Now, some people have come after him, so IU increased his price tag, and I don't know what it is, 2.2, 2.3, but they're laying off 25 people
to pay off this guy.
Yeah. Well, not just to pay off him, but just to get the money,
to have some money
for the NIL and all that stuff. But how would you like to be one of those 25 people that got laid off 2 weeks ago?
Oh, sure.
And then they're paying these assistant coaches millions. But I'm going to lay something else on you.
Okay.
But I'm going to lay this on you first. Notre Dame losing 4 offensive linemen to the portal. Rocco Spindler started at right guard, played 23 games. Pat Coogan started at guard and at center for Notre Dame this past year. Kid named Ty Chan, who did not start, and Sam Pendleton, who started 7 games this past year for the Irish. Pendleton's going to Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
So
they're losing some depth. Now, some of the things I heard is that none of those guys were guaranteed a starting spot in the spring.
Yeah, because of the strength of the offensive line in the younger players.
Yes.
Right.
And that's one of the reasons they were none of them were guaranteed a position as far as the starting position. And the reason a lot of those guys started this year is because they took the place of somebody that was injured opening day.
Right.
They were not a starter opening day.
So, kind of the story that I got, and and obviously this isn't. I mean, I got no source to tell me this. Just somebody says Rocco Smithler going to get $500,000.
Really?
Yeah, no, I mean, going wherever Michigan is involved in recruiting him and some things like that. But so why would guys like this who would be marginal NFL draft guys stay in college, make more money in college,
Right.
3 hots in a cot, and what do I always say? You got chicks in college,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Stay in college.
Exactly. That's what
Follow
they're
the
doing.
money.
Well, and to the other side of that, Notre Dame also said the running back room has stayed
Intact.
It stayed intact because you've got people that could be bailing out.
Yeah.
Because Jeremiah Love he's back. He's young.
Yeah, and Price and Love
Price
and Aeneas Williams.
Price is a year older than him. So, why is Price staying? There must be some magic going on in there.
Look at what Ohio State did with their 2-headed running back system.
Exactly.
They kept both of them healthy all year, and they were dynamite throughout the playoffs.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah, now what about the receiver at Ohio State? Everybody talking about him.
Who, Carnell or Jeremiah?
Jeremiah, he going to have $5 million offers to go somewhere and play.
Yeah.
Is he staying at Ohio State?
He's going to be a top 5 pick. Why would he go anywhere?
I think he just stays there. Right?
Yeah, but here's what and the way to answer your question, are you kidding me? Follow the money.
Maybe.
Well, his cousin is also Geno Smith, plays in the NFL. I'm sure he's getting a lot of mentorship from Big Cuz that says, hey, you can make a lot more in the NFL.
Yeah, but I agree. Stay there. I'm with you on that. I'm a loyalty guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But okay, let me throw this one at you guys, and you guys tell me this one. Okay, Vandy was fined $500,000 because they rushed the floor.
It was a home game,
and they beat Kentucky. Now Kentucky gets the $500,000. Vandy was fined $250,000 in a basketball game against Tennessee because they rushed the floor, and Tennessee gets the money.
Okay.
Vandy was fined $100,000 against Alabama when they played football.
When they took the goalpost.
The goalpost. So I'm a PE major at Manchester College, but I can do that math. That's $850,000 that Vandy is paying out in fines. Now, if I'm a parent of a kid that goes to Vandy,
right,
and I'm saying you're paying $850,000 in fines, and my kid can't get $10,000 reduced from his tuition because we can't afford to pay it.
Right.
I mean, and I said this at the beginning of this segment. Someone's printing money. There's no constraints on anything. If I'm the president, and I see these numbers, I am literally. I mean, can we give $850,000 to the cancer research team?
Yeah, they're making phone calls to somebody with a deep pocket, one of the businesses. Hey, can you help pay this fine? It goes, yeah, sure, no problem.
Yeah, but
so who are you making a college football commissioner? Saban, Joel Klatt, Josh Pate?
No, Nick Saban. But I'm back on this Vandy thing here. But at some point in time, this, if they're making a call, hey, I need $500,000, man. We did this, blah blah blah. Why doesn't the president go to this guy and say, hey, listen, our cancer research needs $500,000. Make a call for me, will you please?
Sure. Right. I understand. And isn't it interesting? It's Vanderbilt hasn't been a winning team in forever. And we talk about them beating, having a football team that actually won a couple games, and now their basketball team beats Kentucky.
Yeah, and beats Tennessee.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But so where does? And I don't know. I'm so old-fashioned, guys. I mean, you are too, but you think more progressively than me. You do. You're old-fashioned, but you're more progressive than me. I mean, where does this stuff? I mean, it just comes out of nowhere.
Where is there an end to it?
I mean, I go to work every day, and there's a finite level of money that I make on my paycheck every 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You do too.
Oh, I know.
You do too.
Yep.
But I don't ever see any of these things like this, like an increase or whatever. I buy the same groceries at the store, but ain't nobody giving me $2.50.
No.
I mean, they may give me $2.50 for gas or something, but not $2.50 mil or 250,000.
Well, we talked to our high school coaches. We can ask them what kind of bonuses are they getting if they win the sectional, or are they getting money for their summer program?
Well, good.
Things like that.
I'm glad because
do you want to do that?
I mean, we are going to talk to Ryan Varga here in a few
30
minutes.
seconds.
We can talk to him whenever we
Yeah.
want to.
He's on it right now.
So
Looks like he's driving.
Coach, you ain't driving, are you?
We got
I got the
him on
phone
here
set
yet.
up. I'm good.
No, wait a minute. I cannot have you getting in a crash saying you were talking
No,
to
you're
Coach's
good.
corner.
You're good.
Hey, if you're over by the linebacker, just
the
walk
phone
in.
is good. You're good. You're good.
Hey, let me ask you this
I told
question.
him I would.
Yeah, no, if you're around, come on in, man. But let me ask you this question. You getting paid for every win? You getting a bonus if you win the sectional? Because in college, they're printing
No.
money like crazy.
I know. I want some of that. I need to get involved with that. I don't know how to. But I will.
Are you in the AD's office? Because I don't know where high school coaches are at now on money. Are you in the AD's office negotiating? Hey, listen, if we win 10 games, I want a bonus or blah blah blah. Are high school coaches doing that?
It'll be a short visit.
I don't know. We're still operating on the 1980s contract. I'm still operating on the 1980s contract.
That stipend they have.
You know, I make the same amount as my uncle did back in the day.
And your uncle won a state championship, man. Come on, right?
I bet Uncle Tommy didn't get any. Did he get a bonus or anything? They buy him a new car or anything when he won the state title?
No. They just asked him to win more.
Yeah, exactly.
All he got was an attaboy.
Yeah, well, I mean, okay. See, you guys, there's money. I mean, people are printing money at the college level, and I really believe this because I think in some states, I mean, they're doing it at the high school level. Maybe Texas, right, Pat?
Yeah, they're doing some NIL stuff.
Yeah. And I just wonder how soon it will be before it trickles down to high school athletes. I mean, do you have a view on that?
I mean, yeah, it's obvious. When you got, I've been fortunate to, coach, Stephen Reynolds through that, through his college process. But you also wonder, when it's going to affect guys like him and, things like that. And, these McDonald's All-Americans, I can't, a lot of them are Mullins or anything like that down in Indy, but you do wonder, when these sponsorships are going to start coming down and, getting a hold of these high school athletes.
Yeah, and I so you brought up a good point. So you're coaching, and I don't know where he is now, but I know during his freshman year, everybody was recruiting Stephen Reynolds, and he probably got a lot of juice off of his sisters because they were so good, and his dad and now little brother comes along and he's 6'4" and he's really good. Has he progressively got better through the years, or has he kind of plateaued, or where is he at in your opinion?
Oh no, he's you're talking about, well, not you're right. You got a basketball family. His sisters have proven themselves as good, not only good high school basketball players, but players that can play in college. So a lot of it, stems from that. But the kid is a player, and I honestly think, at his level that he could be a pro one day, and he's working towards that every day. He continues to put on muscle. He continues to get better. But I think the sky is the limit with him. And when you got Matt Painter and Tom Izzo knocking at your door often, not just once, but often, that says a lot about, the type of player he could be.
What's the one thing, Ryan, that you think he's got to work on to get his game to the next level?
Well, he already is to the next level, but
I mean, what does he need to continue to improve on?
He's going to have to continue to get stronger, as the time goes by. And he put on 10 pounds, this last this last spring and summer going into this season. So he's going to have to continue to do that. And I think he's still growing. He's still growing into his body a lot. He's just going to have to continue to also just, stay hungry and stay humble, which he's a pretty humble kid. But, I truly believe he's got the right support system and people in his corner that he can make it happen.
Now he's a junior this year, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Is there a timeline for him when he's going to make his decision as to where he might go?
I don't think at this moment there's a timeline. I think he's going to finish out the season and see what the spring happens. I don't know if he's going to, make the AAU jump. I'm sure he'll get a call back from USA again and, hopefully make that team. He was down to the last, cut, of that. So, I think he's going to kind of see where that's at. And, I can foresee him maybe making it before the season of next year just to kind of make it easy on himself.
So let me ask you this question, and this is a hard question because this could easily happen to him. Would you ever foresee him going the route of Lalamere or another prep school because it quotes elevates his game and he's playing against better competition? Or do you see him as a kid who just has this loyalty aspect in him and will stay at the Great Western for him?
As of right now, it talks with his dad and him. Steven wants to be a Mr. Basketball. He wants to have an Indiana All-Star. He's got some sisters up on the wall that are Indiana All-Stars, and we've only had one or two boys do that. So I think he kind of wants to, put that in his books. We know where all the records stand and things like that. Not only, and he wants to win. He wants to win for Washington, but we have, individual goals for him too. So it's easy to say that route. I've seen, Smiley from Valpo do it, and he ended up committing to the same place and the same offers that he had. So what really did you accomplish by going there? And no shade on him, or anything like that, but I think that aspect of what are you really gaining from that, or what, like 4 or 5 more games, because really I think just floating around playing fluffs,
Yeah, I think it's amazing.
The loyalties that was.
I think the loyalty that he might have in his family, I think that's amazing in this day and age where people chase the bigger thing.
Right. Well, and with his family being here and the relationship that we know with that, Ryan, I think him going to Lalamere means he's going to be playing on the road a lot more. Mom and Dad won't get to see him play unless they want to tune in watch him on the computer on some streamcast where now they can actually see him in person.
Right. I think that's
they're very close in family. The Reynolds family is very close, and a lot of men may even know there's more on the way. So South Bend better get ready for that.
Yeah, I was going to say there's more over at LaSalle, aren't there?
There's some more Reynolds kids at LaSalle.
Oh yeah. There's like, how many did they have, Coach? 7?
6 or 7 kids, don't they?
Well, they got 2 daughters. Yeah, they have 2 daughters that are going to be coming up. One next year, and then one the year after. And then the son is only, I think, Tristan's in 5th grade. So there's more.
Yeah. So I can see you.
9 years I'm going to graduate.
I can see you doing the math, man.
Yeah,
5th grade. I got to hang in here, man, because I got another one coming.
2032.
He told me the other day we were sitting.
Go ahead.
We're sitting on the bench. This is no joke on Saturday, and he goes, Coach, I got 9 more years and I'm going to graduate. You still going to be here? I said, Lord willing, I don't know.
I think
it's just a tremendous family all the way around.
I certainly believe you would be there because I mean, I've admired you from afar, but I just want to tell you this. when I was coaching at Anderson, there were a lot of the schools around Anderson, like the Pendletons, the Lapels, the Franktons, all those kind of schools. They would become so jealous of Anderson, and they would make so many negative comments. And if anything went wrong, if an Anderson player got a technical, if an Anderson player pushed a kid, there were always these negative comments coming from those schools saying, "Oh, they got no control at Anderson. Oh, they ain't got this, blah, blah, blah." And I would always stand up for my kids. And the one thing I admire about you so much is that you truly, truly have a love affair at Washington.
Right.
And you truly, truly love to put your kids on the highest pedestal, on the highest pedestal, and take the hits for them, regardless of what the hits are. And I think I admire that for you, man.
I appreciate that. Washington is a special place. It's been home for, a lot of years, not only just through my head coaching, but also being an assistant. So, it has a real big place in my heart. They gave me a chance when not too many, were looking for experience. And I think we do. I think the family aspect of it, and we truly do have some great kids at Washington. And I think it gets overlooked by the stipulation that a lot of people have, towards the school and towards the West Side. But there's some great things going on at Washington, and I not just within our program.
Man, we're breaking up, man. Are you getting some donuts at the Krispy Kreme or something, or what, man? Because you're breaking up. Are you good?
I'm good. I just it's that dang Adams High School. Pat knows about it. You come over here, things start getting
You better go back in the car and sit in the car for a minute, man. I got a couple more questions for you, man.
You get over by Adams, it's that internet over there. You talk to sites and get the internet taken care of. I know.
Let
Hey,
me go back. I'll
Yeah, now you're a little bit better, man.
that's funny. Hey, when we get done, let's talk about your season a little bit. You played Jimtown the other day. Had a pretty easy time with them. Jimtown, they had a good team last year. They got a few people back, but I think with them dropping down a division, that's going to help them. But you've got a couple big games coming up this weekend. Tell us about this weekend coming up.
Yeah, and I think I can't say enough about Tyler over there at Jimtown. He does a fantastic job with what he has and what he's doing.
Yeah, listen, you're really breaking up, man. Unless you can get to a spot, we gotta bounce you, man. Can you get to a spot where we can hear you?
Yeah. I'm coming back. I'm coming back towards your way.
All
I
right,
think Tyler does a great job.
get out of Adams, man. Nothing's good's happening there. I'm just saying. And don't go through the handshake line either.
That's your guy Chad over there. Not yet.
Not yet, man.
Before Ryan talks about his schedule, that's not just this weekend, but the rest of the way. That's a pretty heady.
No, he's in the gauntlet. He's at Marion. He's versus Clint Swan the next night, Crown Point.
Crown Point's number 2 in the state.
Yeah, and then South Bend Riley on February 6th.
At Penn on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, then you get a reprieve because the Cavemen are a little down this year. I'm gonna be doing that game at the Great Western Forum. Yeah, I mean you're kind of going through the gauntlet, but that will certainly get you ready for the tough sectional you're in, right?
He's still trying to get someplace. There you go.
I'm very excited, and we got there. I'm good. I'm gonna pull over now. Hey,
hey, pull over by the Burger King and get a better reception.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're very excited about.
Yeah, we're gonna have to catch you sometime.
Let me call him on the phone.
You gotta come into the linebacker sometime to where we can get you. Right here on with us. All right, man.
Scott, hey, Scott's going to Hank. Go ahead and hang up. Scott's going to call you on the phone. We'll talk to you on the phone real quick.
We'll see if we can get you back in here.
Part of our technology here. Scott, you want to run a commercial real quick while we're doing this, and we'll come back. We can whatever you want to do.
Yeah, hang on. Let me find the one video I want to use. I got to mute him first. All right. Give me about 5 seconds, and we'll be back. This segment of Coach's Corner is presented by the Harbor Group Planned Wealth. If you need help planning your finances for retirement, call the Harbor Group at 765-393-1084 or visit Harbor, H-A-R-B-E-R group.com. Securities and advisory services are offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA, SIPC. All right, I'm still working on calling him back on the phone. I'll let you guys.
Okay, we got plenty to do.
Yeah. You guys talk, and I'll
get him back.
I'll let you know when I have him.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to you in a minute. Yeah, so I think he does. I think Ryan just does a really good job. My point being, and you were an Anderson guy too. You might understand this. All those people in the county, all they wanted to do was say anything that they could to bring Anderson down.
They hated us.
Yeah, and I get that feeling sometime when a negative thing happens at Washington, whether it's at Washington or with Washington, people want to take a shot at the west side of town. And some of it might be warranted, I mean, the little deal that what they had, what was it, last year or 2 years ago? It was warranted. I mean, that stuff should never go on. The stuff that happened at Adams, we talked a little bit about Riley and Adams. I mean, if you're not big enough to go through the line and shake somebody's hand and say nice game, and then you got to pop off or you got to say something, and now it's not only a kid or two pushing. Now the crowd comes out.
Right.
Now people come out of the crowd, and so my question is,
that's what's crazy.
Well, is there not enough crowd control? Is there not enough work by the ADs or the corporation to get enough crowd control there, or do you just stop saying?
I don't think it's as much as the ADs. Somebody brought this up years ago when they had the disco demolition night thing. Sometimes when you have a crowd will think is one. And if they see one person or two persons go out on the floor, next thing you know, they're going to feel like, okay, it's cool. Next thing you know, you got hundreds of people on the floor, and you got brawls, and you got all this trying to break people up.
And the next thing you know, someone's going to get hurt.
Yes.
And there's going to be a lawsuit somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I guarantee the first thing they're going to say in that lawsuit is, what kind of crowd control did you have? Because as an administrator, that's your job, right?
They have administration there. They have police there. They have extra police on city games like that.
Hey,
that's just something you can't,
breaking news.
You can't handle.
Oh,
we're listening.
Ryan Varga will be joining you in person here momentarily. He just texted me. He said he's just going to pull up.
Good.
Tell him to come on in.
Good. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and I'll
put him right
I'll
there.
look forward to asking him that question because I want to ask that hard question of him.
Well, let's talk about some of
who
the
this?
some of the conference and stuff. Let's just jump to some high school stuff. Last weekend, Penn had the best weekend they've had. Penn has been really, I wouldn't say struggling, but
By their standards, yeah.
By Penn standards, they've got 6 losses. And this last weekend, my goodness gracious, they had 2 huge wins. They beat St. Joe on Friday night, and then they turn around and beat Fort Wayne on Saturday night, who was last year was a regional or semi-state team in Fort Wayne. So 2 huge wins for Penn. The Friday night game was at St. Joe.
Yeah.
No, Friday game was at Penn.
The Friday night game?
Yeah, it was at Penn.
Okay, so they had 2 home games this weekend.
So Penn is starting Coach Kuhlman's son, who is a freshman, and Peyton Miamba is a sophomore. So they're playing younger kids, and when you play younger kids,
and Kuhlman
they should get better.
Yeah, have you seen the Kuhlman kid play?
He had 32
no.
Saturday night against Wayne.
He doesn't play like a freshman. Heck, he does not. I mean, I tell this. I've told this to people. This kid, look where he spent all of his pre-high school days in Valparaiso. Where at Valparaiso, you know how good you're gonna be, because you go through the training and they teach the game the right way. And so he's definitely worth the price of admission. I was very impressed by how he handles the floor.
Yeah, and so as the season goes on, then at some point in the season you say this kid isn't a freshman anymore because he's played 15 games.
Yeah, like you said, it's second half of January.
And he's only going to get better.
Penn's the only unbeaten team in the conference right now. St. Joe, Riley, and Marion all have one loss.
Yeah, and conference play is just starting. I mean, have you seen Penn play, Ryan?
I have. I'm actually going to watch them tomorrow, but I've seen them play a few games, just through scout and film and things like that. They're progressively getting better. They got a young cast. The Coolman kid's really good.
Man, do you sound much better, man?
Man, I tell you, the closer I got to Adams, it got worse.
Hey,
I turned around and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go here. I'm just gonna meet him.
We thank you so much, man.
So
we thank you so much.
You knew where this place was pretty easy. Everybody knows where the linebacker.
Oh yeah, I don't know if I've ever been. Yeah, I might have been
This
here.
is the second
Just
time
a
you've
time
been
or
here,
two.
right?
Just a
time or two. So when we were breaking up, we talked about the gauntlet that you have coming up on your schedule, and it truly is a gauntlet, man. You had Marion, home versus Crown Point, Clint Swan, and then you're home against the Wildcats. But and this schedule should get you ready for sectional play, right?
Yeah, and that's I think that's part of the planning of it. I think you're going against Rob Berger, and he makes you play a certain type of way, obviously with the different zones he throws at you, and then you have to turn around and play a Hall of Fame coach in Clint Swan, and his Crown Point team who he has rolling right now, and then you turn around and you got the rivalry with Riley that is a different style of basketball too. So you get to see every style of basketball in this in this little stretch we have here, and then it kind of tones down a little bit, and then we pick up at the end. So, you want to be playing your best basketball in March, and I think this gives us the best opportunity to do that.
Speaking of the end of your schedule, you got two teams there in LaVille and Tippy Valley that there's the way both of them are playing right now. You can't sleep on either. Well, from going down to Mentone last year for playing them, and then you get Michael Edison's team that just won the Bi-County. He's playing well. Yeah,
and that's part of the scheduling. I tend to schedule teams that I respect coaches and things like that, and have their guys ready to play, and and force us to play a certain type of way. So, much respect to those two, and I'm looking forward to the challenge.
Yeah, so I got to tell you this, and I know you walk by these every day, but I'm just lucky and fortunate and all the like Uncle Tom and everything, just to be in the Hall of Fame. But I'm going into the Hall of Fame with two of my boyhood heroes, Lloyd and Floyd Kirk.
Yeah.
So when I was a kid, my brother was in the same class as Lloyd and Floyd. He went to Washington High School, and my days at Vorty Park as an 8 or 9-year-old, I was emulating Lloyd and Floyd Kirk. And then when I saw the list of the Hall of Famers with Lloyd and Floyd going, I had tears in my eyes, thinking, this is unbelievable, because I emulated those two guys, and those two guys were legends. And I am so happy that at this point in time they're going in. But to me, they should have been in 20 years ago.
Yeah,
and we should have been able to hear their speeches. They're both deceased now.
Yep.
But we should have been able to hear their speeches. And then last year, Jimmy Webb should have been in 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And Jimmy passed away of cancer. But and I'm sure, like I said, you see their plaques every day, don't you?
Yeah, and I actually when I first took over the head coaching job, I got in touch with the brothers, and I really, some of the things that he stuck out and he talked about as far as what they were as a team and things like that has always stuck with me. Never could really get them here, but it was great to connect with those guys and see where just the history of Washington and what it was about. That's something I've always tried to kind of go back on. And we actually, Milt Cooper's nephew is one of my assistants, now. And it was good to see Milt in the Western Forum the other day, in Washington.
I love that,
stuff.
the Western Forum, man. I love that.
And I told him, he said, man, you got to come here more often. He's, and how Milt is. And, but just the history of Washington is such a rich history, the West Side. And we have so many proud, alumni that I get to come in touch with every day. And, I'm very blessed with that part of the culture.
Yeah, no, Bobby Johnson was a guard. Tommy Itchy Nowicki. His nickname was Itchy because obviously you know why, but Itchy Nowicki was a guard, and Lloyd and Floyd.
Mhm.
Those were great teams. And Subby Nowicki was the head coach.
Yep. And that's something that we look at. We talked about the season. As far as the history of Washington and what that looks like, and how many 20-win teams, how many 19-win teams, and we definitely pay a lot of respect and to the alumni for sure.
This is I don't know if you know this. This is the 80th year of varsity basketball at South Bend, Washington. Were you aware of that?
I know that we turned 65 on Friday.
At the forum, yes.
Yeah, yep. So I'm not aware. I wasn't aware of that, but it's it's a great place, and I think it's one of the best places to play basketball.
But people that say I have no life, I can tell you the first opponent that you played in the forum. You know who it was?
No, I do not.
You have no life, man.
I have no life. It was actually LaPorte.
Okay.
LaPorte was the first team that they ever played at the Great Western Forum back in 1960.
Did we win?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Hey, if you open up a gym, you got to win.
Yeah,
Bring in the Sisters of the Poor. You win.
There we go.
Hey, they've moved sectionals around a little bit. Who's in your sectional this year?
St. Joe.
So, St.
Still
Joe,
St. Joe,
obviously,
Marion?
St. Joe, Marion, and we'll all play on the same side, I'm sure. But we have Culver Military, and then John Glenn's back, New Prairie. I believe that's
New Prairie's new. Have they been in that sectional?
They were
2 years ago.
Okay. Well, John Glenn had left.
Oh, they were no, they
John
they were.
Glenn had left some, and now they're back.
They're back, and now
No, they
had
were in
left.
Washington sectional last year. They
Culver
were, yeah.
Military had left.
Yeah.
Because I can still remember some of those Marion Culver
Yeah.
games here when Galloway was playing.
And Glenn had gone
Yeah.
had gone to KV in that Knox group down there.
just for what
2 years, yeah.
just a one rotation.
Yeah, I don't understand it,
You
but
still got
it is what it
you
is.
still got one of the best two sectionals in the state.
yeah.
It's either that one or Northwood.
And I love that we all get on the same side of the bracket.
Yeah.
It's great for the random draw.
In all my years of coaching, I don't care. I said this. I always thought the draw was fixed, man. I swear to you, I think the draw is fixed. And I know there are some coaches that say, well, I mean, Mark Johnson, whoever they draw, we draw, we're going to,
It doesn't
blah,
matter.
blah, blah.
You still have to beat him. I get that aspect, but
But
let me beat him on
always thought it was-
Saturday.
Exactly. I mean, give me him Friday night and then
Yeah.
another one Saturday. I couldn't agree with you
How
more.
about the girls? The girls draw pen.
Yeah, we're still waiting for that live feed of that draw. But
Yeah.
that and that's a championship type game in the in the first round, and
First round.
and
That's part of the blind draw.
it is what it is. You got to beat whoever, and I do agree with that part.
So St. Joe, shot it well against you, or what did they do against you to spread that out like that?
Well, the worst thing happened with us is we came out firing, and we took
Made some early threes.
made some early threes, and then that kind of instead of settling in, we went for the knockout punch. We swung, we missed, and they capitalized.
They hung around long enough.
So kudos to them. They're a fantastic team from top to bottom. They just have a lot of talent and things like that. But looking at the score and the things like that, we didn't play very well.
Yeah, no, a lot of those games can get away.
And nor did we do anything to stop the bleeding. But it was good for us because we talked about it. If we're going to play at their pace, we're a fast team, but they play at a faster pace than we do sometimes, and which is scary.
Yeah.
But we told them we were going to have to play a different type of game. We didn't really execute that. We did for about a quarter and a half, and then we saw what happened with the rest of it.
Yeah.
And plus, we didn't shoot very well. And I'll say this, and I have a lot of younger kids that I think that environment, the 10 versus 1 and the gym being packed, had something to do with it too.
And they're the kind of team, and you know this from seeing them. Once they get on a roll, man, it's like trying to stop a snowball coming down the mountain. It ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, they're very good. And Coach Gaff has those guys playing, and kudos to them. And we hope to see them again though.
Yeah. I bet you do.
Yeah, we do.
That's a pretty safe bet.
On your floor on the first Saturday in March, I hope.
So is the sectional at the Great Western Forum?
Sectional is not.
Oh, it's not. I'm sorry.
Sectional is at Plymouth.
Oh, okay.
So we got a nice
really?
drive.
Get to go down to Plymouth.
Yeah. So
I remember those days.
So yeah, we'll it's at Plymouth, but we hope to see them on a Saturday. It'd be nice.
I
So,
agree.
so let me ask you this question. There's South Bend, Washington. There's Adams. There's Riley, the three city schools, right?
Mhm.
And then, I mean, do you guys like before the season? Do you three coaches get together and say, "Listen, guys, we got to. I mean, whatever's going on, we got to stop this because of the black eye it presents for South Bend." Whether it's the handshake line or whatever it is, do you guys ever talk about that as coaches, or do the administrators ever get you guys together and say, "Hey, you guys, we need you to control this"?
If you go back to, the situation that happened at Washington, was it 3 years ago or 4 years? It's been
a
about 3 or
couple
4
now,
years.
hasn't it?
There was nothing wrong with the gameplay of Washington versus Riley. Yeah, it's a rivalry. It can be chippy. It can get physical. It can get mouthy. But what happened at halftime, were a bunch of individuals that were not school related. I think it was nothing to do with the administration's part or of Riley or Washington that did anything wrong. I did think it opened up some eyes to work further with the South Bend Police Department that these are some individuals that we cannot have at games.
Right, exactly.
And these individuals need to be without games and things like that. I can't speak to what happened at Adams and Riley. I do know this. I think we all have respect for each other, and there is a team aspect of South Bend. But I think what happened there was an unfortunate event for our kids, and for the city. But it's not something that does not happen elsewhere.
Right.
But I do think South Bend does get a black eye because of that, and it's because it's South Bend. But I've also seen, predominantly, country schools and things like that have gotten in these fights throughout different states. I think the administration and I think South Bend is, looking further to control those aspects and provide these teaching moments for our kids. And I think we'll continue to do that. But I don't think it's anything more than what, most other schools are trying to teach their teenagers. I've been through handshakes line the other day where, we beat somebody and the kid didn't want to, shake our kids' hands, like that. So, it's not just South Bend, it's everywhere. I think the most thing that we can do is continue to, coach our kids and provide the discipline aspect of it and, teach them how to not only win, but how to lose, and that's something that's going to continue to, be a big part in this game as throughout. And colleges are having problems with it too.
Yeah, I think so too. But so like I take myself back because I'm a South Bend guy, and I take myself back. And the guys at Riley and the guys at Clay and the guys at Jackson and the guys at Washington, we played together at Steppen Center at Notre Dame, and we played each other every night in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
So those games were competitive, but when those games were over, it was, hey man, hey, where you going? Let's go out to BK Rutger on Western Avenue. Let's go grab something to eat. I don't know if this plays into it, but with AAU and maybe not kids playing together as much like we did back in the day, because after a game against Washington, man, there's Dave Wood, there's Joel Finch, there's all those cats at Washington, there's all David Herron at LaSalle, there's all those dudes at Riley. Hey, nice game, man. Hey, heck, nice game, man. Great job. Yeah, hey, you guys played hard. Good job, man. I don't remember anything to where kids went after each other because it was kind of like we were all South Bend.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we had more pride in South Bend back then or because we knew each other. We knew each other more, and we played together every day on the playgrounds. I mean, I don't know. Does the Adams kids and the Washington kids play together in the summertime, like at the center and stuff like that?
I think a lot of them, a lot of these kids train together, and that's not only that, do they play together or play against each other, they train together through various different trainers throughout the league. So, I don't think it's a sense of that. I think honestly it was just a heat of a moment type thing, because we played Adams, a week before.
It's very possible it might have been just one or two kids that said something, and one or two ended up.
I don't think it was
snowballed and got ugly.
I think it got got taken out of context or something like that. It was one or two kids, and they heated that moment. But we played Adams, week before. We went through the handshake line. Everything was perfectly fine, and it was that atmosphere, hey, you guys, good luck in the sectional, good luck the rest of the season,
Right.
I didn't see any of those type of behaviors, and it was a chippy game too, I'm
glad you said that, because I think that leads a little bit into it a little bit too, because I don't think back in the game, and you can tell me this too because you played, that the games were as chippy maybe as they are now, because maybe the refs controlled a little bit of that. Well, I don't know, but I just remember when my guys at Anderson would play, and people would go after them. And I would always tell them, hey guys, knock it off, get through here. Let's get out of here. We beat their ass. Let's go home, man. We'll celebrate on the bus. But I don't know if it is more chippier today. I don't know.
I don't think it's necessarily more chippy today than even when I played or anything like that. Or
where did you play at?
South Bend Clay. So I was a part of the rivalries, the Washingtons.
Did you have game?
Adams.
I mean, were you good?
I was decent. I started, so
who'd you play for you?
I played for Huppenthal.
Did you really?
Yep. So Joe Hupp. So I played, varsity for him for 2 years. I mean, I don't think it's anything more crazy than when I played. And, I think honestly back then the game was a little more physical when we played. We were, hammering people coming through the lane and things like that.
That was when you could still hit each other.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I hate to put my hat on one situation, and I guess what people are trying to tie it to is what happened with us, 3 or 4 years ago, which there's nothing with it. There's no connection. There's no connection.
Yeah, it's apples and oranges.
So I think people are trying to say, oh, it's South Bend. No, it's not what it is. It's an isolated incident. How many incidents have we had? I mean, how many times have these teams played each other over the years where we've not had something like this happen?
Well, and bottom line, Ryan, this is another one of those where when you have those end of practice conversations with the kids, when you're circled around the center circle, you're talking about, locker rooms, taken care of. You're talking about staying at the bench if there is something. You can't, you cannot go on the floor. You're talking, hey, handshake line, shut your mouth, get through the handshake line. If you got a problem, we'll take care of it in the locker room, but nothing out in front of the people.
And I'm sure Chad and Alex had those conversations, and, in that heat of the moment, that kid made a teenager mistake.
Well, and both coaches have taken care of things internally. Kids have had their punishments, and it's time to move on.
And they have two great administrations over there with Jimmy Seitz and Sean. Both guys played basketball.
They're both players. Yep.
They understand what the game is about, and they're great leaders. So, along with Chad and Alex, I know that they handled it the way that the best they could.
The problem they have. And heck, was picking on me last week because I said a couple of things. It's not the coaches, it's the administration, because you've got people downtown that are worried about reputations. So now you have to answer to them. So, Chad had conversations, Alex had conversations with his higher ups trying to explain things, because all they hear, whether it's a school board, whether it's an administrator.
So now next week we got to get the superintendent on, right?
Yeah,
I think
I love that's the issue. There's too many chiefs. If they let the coaches take care of their own, and I made the reference to Magic Johnson when he said we hired the people we wanted and we got the hell out of the way and let them do what they're supposed to do.
Right, exactly.
And I thought the administration in downtown did a good job bringing those two groups together.
Good.
And they had, I don't know if they had pizza together or anything like that. I mean, they were totally. That group was totally fine afterwards, and I bet you
I heard they were down here at the linebacker. They met at the linebacker.
Yeah, they were.
The coaches might have.
So I those kids. I mean, and that's what people forget about, and I think that's what a lot of people, not only just in a sense of this happening, but even even just these kids playing. They're kids,
right?
and they're going to, they're figuring out life as it goes too, and how to deal with emotions. And, it's all part of the process. And I think, this is for some odd reason, this was a part of those guys' process. And I think it's a learning experience for everybody. But I would hate to say, I'm very biased to say that South Bend isn't safe, or playing at South Bend school isn't safe. I just think that's a bunch of BS.
Well, I'm certainly excited to come over and work that Mishawaka game at the Western Forum. I think it's a great place to play. I am going to walk by my dad and his twin brothers' plaques, because they're in the Hall of Fame at Washington.
Okay. Yeah.
And you're 11-2. You're coaching your brains out again. This is something you love. You love coaching. You love bringing your teams along, and we certainly wish you nothing but the best, man. You do this the right way.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, we got to get him out of here, because he's going to scout, and it's quarter till.
Yeah, get out of here, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna head back over where I get some terrible receptions, but I'm gonna go back over there.
Hey, so when you see Chad, tell me that we're gonna bring him on the show to give me his side of the story. All right.
Good. Yeah, I think he does need to tell his side of the story.
Chad,
for
come
sure.
on, man.
And I know he'll tell it the right way.
Yeah, he will. All right, listen, man, you're the best.
Appreciate it.
Thanks,
Thank you, guys.
man.
Congratulations on your Hall of
Thanks
Fame
for coming
too.
All right, thank you very much, man. That is the great Ryan Varga, and he's a great young coach in the city of South. He's what South Bend needs, man. He's you for 15 years.
Oh, I guess.
No, that's what you did for 15 years, and you give it up for Ryan.
Standing ovation as he's leaving, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the people in here are standing.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think
Everybody that's in here stood up for him.
I think he is you. 15 years, and the way you did it for 15 years, the right way, right?
Trying to. He's got a good thing going over there, and he's right. And you know this too. People on the West Side are very proud, and they're very territorial.
Yes.
And
Yeah, they get that one pant leg up.
I forgot to ask him about Jalen Petty, man. I've done some of those IUSB games. Jalen Petty is killing it, by the way.
I actually had him in class.
Yeah, he's killing
I was over at Washington. I had him in gym class. He's a great kid.
Hey, Scott, why don't you take us out for our last break, and then we'll come back. We'll talk some college basketball, man.
All right, we've got. I'll hit you with. We've got one, and then we'll get to another one here momentarily. But quick break. We'll be right back. Our next segment on Coach's Corner is brought to you by Hahn Funeral Homes of Mishawaka. For all things funeral related, Hahn Funeral Homes is there to provide excellent service every step of the way. Visit HahnFuneralHomes.com or call 574-255-1474. Also, we can never forget about the Black Sedan Band, right?
It is 10 to 8.
Yeah, the Black Sedan Band in Birmingham, Alabama. Are you kidding me? I gotta get the Black Sedan Band into the linebacker here. If they thought the linebacker was hopping last Monday night, they get the Black Sedan Band in here.
I'll be here.
This place will be rolling. I'll be on stage. Dancing with my brother in the band. Hey,
do they need backup dancers?
Yeah, our sponsors are great, by the way. We just brought aboard Ben Harbor and the Harbor Group. You're one of Ben's clients.
Based out of Anderson.
Yes, based out of Anderson.
I used to be until I moved.
Yeah, he does a great job with people and financial planning. Tony Letcher is awesome. He's been great with us for a couple years. Pat Hahn and the Hahn Funeral Homes are awesome. And then Frick's Driving, man. Are you kidding me? Frick's Driving. Yeah. Talk about your employer, man.
Well, I know. Matter of fact, I get to drive tomorrow. The weather's been so lousy. I haven't had a chance to drive for 2 weeks. So I'm going to drive a couple times this week. And like Scott has in our ads, if you're like new to the state and you need an Indiana driver's license, you can come over to Frick's, just walk in and say, hey, I need to get a driver's test. $65. You go for a drive for 20 minutes, half hour. They get all your paperwork organized. You go down to the BMV and you're all set. If you're a teenager and you want to sit through the classes, I think it's $400 and some. You just call the office and talk to Doug and Jolynn, and they'll take care of you and run the teenagers through the whole process. So they've got a couple different ways, because the BMV is actually getting out of the business of testing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If you want to take your driver's test now, they're phasing it out where you don't go to the BMV to take the driver's test. You have to go someplace else like us,
Okay.
Bricks, to do that.
So that's something
There
I'll
you go.
remember in 20 years.
So there's your.
There you go. No, you got a job. You got a job.
Yeah. So the
Are you an
70
examiner?
So I used to be. All I got to do is just go re-up on the license. But I used to be at a state examiner, and but yeah, for a 70-year-old grandma that needs a driver's license, she'd come down to
Okay,
Frick's, take care of it.
Stop it.
I'm just saying.
We're almost 70. Stop
I
it.
forgot. Remember,
Would you stop
I
that?
got to start. I'm gonna start saying
70-year-old grandma, 70-year-old ex-coach coming in. Oh,
I mean, you both are.
Pat.
I mean,
You
one,
guys gonna-
We are one.
you guys
year
are
away
halfway
from
to both of you
70.
being grandfathers.
Oh,
Oh,
man,
dear.
you're exactly right. No, I am a grandpa.
You
I got
two are
a
going to
little
become the next
grandson.
old man Periwinkle from Match Game.
We're gonna be
Oh,
grumpy,
man.
grumpy old men.
Yes,
part 3.
yes, yes. Hey, Scott, what about our Frick's game of the week? Come on, you got one?
I've got a Frick's game of the week.
Give me the car, man.
Our next segment and our road team of the week are presented by Frick's Driving School, the best driving school in all of the world. If you're ready for formal driver's education or just need to take the Indiana driving exam, Frick's has you covered. You might even get to drive with Coach King. Visit fricksdrivered.com or call 574-256-0650.
All right.
What a bonus.
There you go, man.
Hey, I've got 2 candidates for my road team of the week. We've already talked about one of them. Maryland came into Bloomington this weekend and basically stole a ball game against IU. But I'm going to pick a different one simply because we haven't talked about it. On Saturday, number 7 Houston goes to Kansas and has to play at Kansas, which is equally difficult.
Yes.
And Kansas could also be my dumbass of the week too.
I thought IU was your dumbass of the week.
They are. They are, but I have a close second.
I still
Kansas-
have that graphic video
I know.
too.
Oh,
So
good.
whenever
we'll
you want to
run
do
that
it.
here in a minute. All right, we'll run that in a minute. Kansas is up 3 regulation, and they allow Houston comes down the floor, makes a 3 in the last 10 seconds, overtime.
Okay.
Now we come to the first overtime. Kansas is up 6.
How much time?
They're inside a minute.
Dumbass of the week right
They're
there.
inside a minute. Matter of fact, they're inside 10 seconds.
And they gave up 2 threes?
They gave up 2 threes. Houston hits a 3 with 7 seconds left. Now that they're down 3.
Down 3.
They steal the inbound on the press with 7 seconds left. Guy does a Reggie Miller. He runs back to 2 dribbles back to the 3-point line, turns around, fires an 0-3, bam, hits that. Now we're into the second overtime.
Okay.
And then they turn around and get beat 92-86.
Kansas
gets beat.
Yeah, you're
They had
right.
both of them won. They had a 1 in the regulation. They had a 1 in the first
You're
overtime.
100%
They
right.
turn around and get beat 6 in the second overtime.
The Frick's road game of the week and the dumbass of the week.
So Scott, you want to run? So here, your Houston is my road team of the week. All right, show me run my Stephen A. message. Steve.
Remember, it's the Desmond Howard Award.
Oh, now it's Desmond Howard. I'm sorry, we've progressed.
Love the graphic. Love the graphic.
All right, so my dumbass of the week award has to go to Kansas.
There you go.
Really?
I like it. For giving up that stuff at the end of Houston.
Oh, I
You
thought
wanted to give it to Woodson?
Yes.
Okay, he's 1B then.
Honorable
Yeah.
mention.
Honorable mention.
We'll
Yes.
do honorable
He's honorable mention, dumbass.
So those were
Mike,
2 of the big
Mike,
games.
I didn't say that, all right? Pat's the one that wanted to keep
now-
you. He
now
didn't
we're-
want to fire you, Pat.
I'm going to keep him, but yeah, it's tough love. He's going to have to put some W's up there.
He's got to put some dubs because here it is. The Big Ten, Michigan State, 8-0, 17-2. Purdue, 8-2, 16-5. Matt Painter got his guys rolling a little bit,
Yeah,
right?
and
This is a rebuilding year.
And you said
Yeah,
last
exactly.
week. You said last week they haven't played anybody.
Yeah, no. Well, their
Went
strength
to
of
Oregon.
schedule.
Oregon
Their-
was ranked.
their
But they went
strength
out
of
to
schedule
Eugene.
Yeah.
in their first 5 or 6 games wasn't great, but then you got Michigan. Oh, and by the way, Dusty May.
Mm-hmm.
Could Dusty May be coaching the Hoosiers at this point in time? Maybe.
Maybe.
Wisconsin 6-3, Maryland 6-4, Illinois 6-4, and Brad Underwood saying today that he thinks he might have a Final Four team because they're getting better.
They're
good.
Yeah,
They're good.
and I'm surprised they're 6-4. I thought they would be 8-2 right now, but I think like I said, they're at the halfway point. They've played 10 games. Now you're talking about IU.
5-5.
And who do they play? Who's their next game?
No, they play Purdue on Friday night.
Yeah.
Which is predominantly a high school night in the state of Indiana at Purdue. Is it at Purdue?
It's at Purdue.
Yeah, and I don't understand that part of it. I don't understand
why
the
would you-
scheduling
yeah,
of bumping heads
That's
like that.
Big Ten and TV.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, here you are. West Coast. They'd play Friday night games, but nobody cared.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
Friday night in Indiana is high school
So
basketball.
now you got people all over the state that want to
So
go
that's
to
a
their
good question.
that want to go to their high school basketball games. Now what do?
So who would we axe? Is that a ESPN deal? Is that an ESPN game?
This
Is
gets
that
on
ESPN?
Fox. This is the Fox
So-
prime
so
time
this
game.
is-
Friday,
this is Fox,
Friday night.
yep.
Friday night on Fox. Usually,
Yeah.
don't they have The Simpsons on?
or Friday Night SmackDown. That's got to
Yeah.
another channel.
Well, I
But
You
they
take it
usually
up
have a
with
They
Gus
usually have a
Johnson
Saturday
and Jim
night
Jackson.
game.
I usually
guess.
watch SpongeBob, but maybe that's not on anymore. I don't
Yeah.
know.
But anyways,
Well, okay,
neither
growing
one
up.
of them neither one of them played.
All right,
during the
growing
week.
up, I'll ask you first, Kenny. What was your favorite cartoon growing up?
Oh, the Warner Brothers, Bugs Bunny, and the whole crew.
Okay, what was yours?
Roadrunner, and Pink Panther.
Anybody want to ask me?
What was yours?
Johnny Quest.
Johnny Quest.
Johnny Quest. Do you remember Johnny Quest?
Oh yeah.
He had his, he had his
Can I
dog.
age you guys real quick?
Sure.
Yes. Yes.
I've never
Ren and
heard.
Stimpy?
I've never heard of Johnny Quest.
Have you ever
Well-
heard of Ren and Stimpy?
Yeah,
but I
pull
never
up-
watched it.
Yeah. Pull up Johnny Quest.
How about Beavis and Butthead?
I know that one. Yeah, that's just the title of this show.
Pull up Johnny Quest with Haji.
We just got smacked.
Yeah, no, that's okay. We're the ones sitting in at linebacker, and he's not.
He's not.
He's
It's
not.
60 degrees here today, by the way.
Yeah.
All right, so
We're not there yet.
IU brings in exactly half. They're half of the Big Ten, but some of the rest of the Big Ten, the lower echelon of, and at 14 Northwestern beats beats IU.
Yep.
Minnesota, Rutgers, Nebraska. Fred Hoiberg still at Nebraska.
Yes.
The mayor, yeah.
Not for long,
Yeah.
Freddie. If you don't start getting this shit turned around, 2-7.
Yeah, that's
Nebraska's not known as a basketball school, though.
Yeah, but still,
Hoiberg's had some good teams.
it might not be. But when you're paying NIL money, now
No.
someone's going to take the fall.
Yeah,
Right.
I agree.
Hey,
you
speaking
agree
of
to that?
Northwestern and falling, did you guys see the video of Brooks Barnheiser going up for that dunk and then landing on his
Barnheiser
face?
is just crazy right now. Yeah, and he was wide open, but he went face first. His hand slipped off the rim. That was against IU.
That hurt me so
Yeah,
much.
that hurt. And, and
After he got his
knowing
teeth
him,
knocked out, after he got his fake teeth knocked out against Purdue.
yeah, I still remember him when his dad was over at Elkhart Memorial.
Yeah, and
when he was in grade school.
And we like Mark. I mean,
Barney's one of our guys.
Barnheiser's a lapel guy, right?
Yeah, he went to Lapel. He's coaching Lafayette Jeff right now.
What
But,
did it?
his kid, my goodness gracious, he's got to be in an ice bath at the end of every game because he's so beat up.
Yeah, he just plays his brains out, plays hard.
He does play hard.
And I would expect that from Mark's kid because Mark Barnheiser coaches kids to play hard just like that.
His Jeff kids over there, they play hard.
Wanted to give a shout out real quick because he came to the game last week to see one of his former players from North Miami, Tom Robbins, is coaching at Holy Cross.
Yeah, the
and
girls
Tommy,
coach.
Yeah,
Well,
and Tommy Robbins is doing a really great job with that program there.
Yeah, Scott's got a picture of Barney. Bam. Brooks just, he literally he smacked his nose. I'm surprised he didn't break his nose.
Yeah, no, that's a tough.
But yeah,
fall.
we were over there at Holy Cross and IUSB.
Yeah,
Yep.
we saw the game.
Yeah,
Well, I did
You
the game.
did
You the
radio.
game.
He was doing the shot clock.
Yeah.
But
And I just came in and watched the game, said hi to Tommy, and
So let me
his
ask you
girls
this
played
question:
well.
Have you done any games this year?
Couple,
I mean, you've done a couple basketball games.
one or two back
okay.
in December. I've got a ball game this Friday. I'm doing Bremen at Jimtown.
Who you doing it with?
Drew and John,
Wow.
broadcast
Good.
sports.
I'm glad to have you back on, man.
Yeah.
We've missed you.
Next week we've got probably girls sectionals.
Got girls
someplace.
sectionals all next week, starting
Yeah.
Tuesday at LaPorte.
Yeah, you're going to
Washington. I'll be there.
Are you going to LaPorte?
I'll be there. Yep.
I'm probably going to go. I'm guessing over to Fremont or
The Fairfield.
Fairfield to watch. I'll tell you that game, the girls' game. I think I'm looking forward to if I get to go. Will be CC and Northwood,
Columbia City. Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of we were talking about South.
Take a picture and send it to me, will you?
Speaking of former
Take a
South.
picture, send it to me.
Well, and then Wawasee plays Friday. I got to go see my girl Kenzie Hackelman play over at Wawasee.
Former.
She's
former
in high
South-
school.
Kenzie, she's
Yeah.
a senior.
Oh my God, I am old.
Former Sato coach Mike Magassi has turned Westville around there. They've won 19 games this year.
Oh my!
And,
Is that
wow.
where is he at
19.
Westfield?
He's at Westville. Yeah.
Westville.
Could we get to
Yeah.
the ACC for a minute?
Let's do it. I got
Let's
it.
talking about Westville.
Let's talk about
Duke
Notre Dame
9-0.
here at 8 o'clock.
Cooper Flag 17-2. Clemson 9-1. 17. Brad Burnell still at Clemson. He's an Indiana guy.
Mm-hmm.
Notre Dame checking in at number 11. Notre Dame 3-5 in the league, 9-10, coming off of a huge win at Virginia, 74-59. And the number of times they've won at Virginia with not only this team or the past 5 or 6 years, they never win at Virginia.
The first time, I
that
think.
was Uno. That's right.
Yeah, the first time in 9 years that they've won at
It's been
Virginia?
a long time. I tell you, they've got 4 guys that are playing 30-plus minutes. He's doing the same thing right now with this group that Mike Bray did for 20-some years. Just you get 6 or 7 of them and just wear them out.
Well, if you win, then it's good.
helps.
Yeah.
Marcus Burton missed 7 ball games, but he's been back, for 3, 4, 5 ball games. He's averaging right at 20 a game.
Yeah, just don't get tossed out of games at the end like he did against Syracuse a couple weeks ago.
But college coaches don't have to sit out the next game. They just pay a fine and they're back at it.
So I think Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame can get back into this race, and I don't know if anybody's going to get up there with Duke, because I think Duke's really good. But Notre Dame hosts Georgia Tech on the 28th. Georgia Tech is 3-6.
That's tomorrow night, matter of fact.
So that's a game that they can get. On February 1st, they're at Miami. They're going to do the Florida swing, and Miami is 0-9 and 4-16 in league play.
They need to win that.
So why can't they get Miami? And then they're at Florida State on the 4th at 4-5 and 13-7. So that would be huge for Notre Dame to come back at 6-5.
Yes, that would be a big help. That'd get them a boost as we get into February.
Well, I mean,
Hey, can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just about college ball in as a whole right now as it sits. Is it pretty much Duke, Auburn, and everybody else this year, or what's your opinion on the flavor of college basketball at the moment?
I mean, I don't know. I think maybe now at this point in time, but usually in February or March, somebody gets hot and comes out of the I mean, no one's really talked about them, but you got the standings right there, right?
Like you said, Scott, is Auburn, Duke, Iowa State's at 3, Alabama's at 4.
The Gators are playing well.
Yeah.
Florida's at 5, Houston at 6. So they're all conference teams. So they're still going to beat each other up. Like you said, heck, somebody's going to get on a hot streak. Right now it's been Duke.
Right.
And Michigan State's won 12 in a row. By the way.
Yeah. No, Michigan State.
You could never take your eye off them.
Michigan State's won 12 in a row. I don't think they've lost since Thanksgiving.
Yeah, 17-2.
Yeah.
I have a hot take here as we sit on January 27th about the NCAA tournament.
Okay.
I think it's going to be Duke and 3 SEC teams as 1 seeds.
Really? And who are the SEC teams?
I think it might be Auburn, Tennessee, and Florida. Maybe Alabama.
Florida's playing really good.
Yeah, that's right. There's always maybe Alabama, and a lot of us is.
So you don't think Michigan State will hold steady?
I think the grind of the Big Ten might eventually wear them down. Like, they haven't played Purdue yet, and I mean, Purdue's up to number 10. Purdue lost to Auburn by 30, and they're back up to number 10.
Yeah. Here's a news flash. ESPN loves the SEC. They're telling about how great the SEC is.
This just did.
Yeah, that's something brand new.
Yeah.
What in football or rugby or lacrosse or basketball?
Tennis.
I think in basketball. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got to say this much: our new digs here at the Linebacker Lounge it's a great place to do this from. We will have some people coming in after, hopefully after today. And I had some people that wanted to come over tonight. I said, let me and Pat get the thing, get the location squared away and get everything squared away. This has been a great environment for us to do this in.
Right.
And we're fixing to eat a little great linebacker food now in a little minute. So I want to give a shout out to the Linebacker Lounge. Just a great place. And I think my first time in here was I had a fake ID, and when I was 16, I had a fake ID, 16. And the guy looked at me and said, "Get the hell out of here."
Yeah, he thought it was one of your brothers.
No,
right?
he said, "Ronnie, get the hell out of here before I call your dad." Before I call your dad.
One of those deals.
I said, "Do not call my dad, man. I'm out. I'm gone."
I'm gone. That's for sure. So yeah, we do this. This time next week we'll be talking. We'll throw some girls basketball because next week is sectional week for the girls.
Yep.
So we mentioned that just real quickly, and the boys will be getting into February.
Well, no, next week we'll talk NFL. We'll talk Super Bowl, man.
We'll talk some Super Bowl. Yeah, getting into that.
Yeah.
And
aren't you going to Cancun?
Not now, but I will be.
Okay.
I will be. I will be to get away from you two guys. I'm gonna go to Cancun, man, with my sweet, lovely wife Monica.
You'll love it there. It's a beautiful place.
I've been there.
Yes.
Are you flying American?
I'm flying whatever plane you're flying that day. I'm going.
Make sure and fly American. Keep the roof over my house.
I'm going in the baggage compartments.
put him in the doggy cage.
Yes. Hey, listen, Scott. Thanks for producing a great show tonight. And we will see you guys. Kenny, you're the best, man. Thank you so much.
Hey, great to be here.
We will be back here next week. Thanks, Scott. And they're back in town. Nice. Had a safe trip from Kendallville this weekend.
I'm going to tell you who I'm trying to line up next week because I want to talk some Bears. I'm trying to line up Kenny Valdesari next week. Kenny Valdesari was the PR director for the Bears back in the Jim McMahon, the 1985 days.
Is that Rogers?
That's Rogers' son.
No kidding. Okay.
And I'm trying. And Kenny has everything on the Bears. So I'm trying to get the inside scoop from Kenny Valdesari next week. We will promote that when I get it done, and look forward to talking to everybody next week, man. You guys are the best.
Sounds
Peace.
Good. All right. Take care, Scott.
Peace. Adios.
All right, guys. We'll close you out. Again, thank you to our great partners, Tony Letcher from Health Markets Insurance, tletcher.com, or call them 574-307-8882. And then our new supporters, the Harbor Group, call them 765. So we have our first. That's not a Northern Indiana area code. They're down in Anderson. 765-393-1084, harborgroup.com. And then, as always, loyal day one people, Han Funeral Homes, 574-255-1474, and Frick's Driving School, the best driving school in the world. Maybe someday the linebacker will get some trophies. So see you next week. Bye.